Hello and welcome to the Best Of. Best Of focuses on the best in the area of business, entertainment, sports, and the community. And we are really excited about our guest today. He is a transplant to this area, and we know that the show will be shown globally via YouTube, but just for the purposes of the audience knowing where we are recording today, we're in Memphis, Tennessee, and we are going to be talking about NFL Plan B. Our guest is Mr. Trevor Jenkins. Welcome, Trevor.
Glad to be here. How you doing, Coach?
All right, doing well. We're excited about you being here, and we have started our year of a series of talking about being your best from the standpoint of athletes, because our focus is really on the ABCs. The A being bring your A game. We always want people to bring their best. And then Plan B. And C is really important. And we're going to find out some more things about you as it relates to the C, and that's career transition. So let's start off by just talking a little bit about you. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. I'd like to, I don't want to take your thunder, so I'll have you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about where you're from. First of all, tell us what you do and what organization you're associated with.
Okay. Well, I'm Trevor Jenkins. I work for Bellevue Baptist Church. I'm the campus pastor of Bellevue Fraser. Bellevue's planting churches around the city of Memphis, and so they have one church and 4 locations. One of their locations is Bellevue, Arlington. I'm the campus pastor of Bellevue Fraser. There's a Spanish campus called Bella Vista, and then our main campus is on Appling, Bellevue Baptist Church. And so I'm a minister, and I'm just loving being in the city of Memphis and sharing the gospel.
All right. Now, people can take a look at you and see that you're young and striking and pretty healthy. Now, usually when we think of ministers, we don't think in terms of people who are former athletes. I think probably the one person that we would all think of is the Minister of Defense, Reggie White. Yeah. So how would you like to be referred to? Would you like for me, because people can see you and they can see me, and whatever you want me to call you, I'll call you that. So if it's Coach, if it's Pastor, if it's Trevor, how do you like to be referred to?
I just tell all my friends, any person I meet, just call me Trevor.
Well, can I be your friend?
You're my friend.
All right, so I'm gonna be Trevor then. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we just want to find out a few things about you. Tell us where you grew up.
Originally grew up in Long Island, New York. Wow. I'm a Northerner, a Yankee at heart. I grew up in Long Island, New York. Actually spent some time in Queens. My grandmother would live in Queens, and so on the weekends we would go to our grandmother's house, and then moved from New York to Georgia. My dad works for the post, but he was a pastor as well. And so he felt like the Lord was leading him to Georgia, and so he got a job transfer with the post office to come to Macon, Georgia. And so lived in Georgia for a third of my life, lived in New York for a third of my life, and started to begin to play football when I was a kid, and fortunate to get a scholarship to Middle Tennessee State University. And so from Georgia, I would go to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and I've been in Tennessee for a third of my life as well.
Wow. Well, we are certainly glad that you're here, and I'm sure that Bellevue is really excited about your presence. Earlier, before the show, you're so calm yet energetic, and I was kind of teasing with even having a beard, you still got that baby face, so I'm sure that you are really attracting a population that's really going to be helpful for the overall body of the church. So that's great. So how are you liking it so far?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's hard work just like anything else. But getting into the community, meeting the people, wanting to know that I care about them and that the Lord cares about them. And I love being in Fraser. Despite what many people think in Memphis, it's a beautiful part of town. Great people there, and we've just been just trying to make an impact and getting to know people in the neighborhood, going door to door. It's old-fashioned, but it's been a benefit to us.
Wow, so you are canvassing. You're going door to door?
We're going door to door.
Awesome. Well, you know, the one thing that you said that was really incredible was the fact that you said you love it, and you didn't just say you love it. I could actually feel that. So how are you enjoying the Fraser community specifically? I mean, every time I talk with you before the show, and we've had a couple of meetings beforehand, whenever I talk with you about Fraser, I mean, you just kind of have this glow about you. What is it that inspires that?
Just the people of Fraser. I just try to be intentional. Other amazing people in Fraser, but going to Corning Elementary, which is right next to Bellevue, Fraser, the Principal Jessica, just getting to know her and seeing her vision for Fraser, and then going to New Hope Academy and Headmaster Steiner, and just seeing his vision for Fraser, and being a part of the Fraser Exchange Club with William Rice, and just seeing so many things that are going on in Fraser, and people are excited to be a part of Fraser and trying to renovate that side of town. It's just an awesome time to be a part of it, and so you're just around other passionate people. It's just natural that it just rubs off on you.
Awesome, that's great. Now, you talked about playing football. Have you played any other sports, and when did you start? I mean, with your dad being with a post office and then being a pastor, wow, both of those careers really consume a lot of time.
Yes.
So did you start off playing football all the time?
I did not. Actually, I was talking to my dad the other day. This is funny, actually. My mom would not let me play football until I was in middle school. And so I remember it was the last day to sign up for it. We grew up in a basketball, boxing kind of home. And so we always watched boxing and we always watched basketball. But I decided I wanted to play football. And I was a growing boy, I was getting stronger. And so I said, I think I could do well in this sport. And so finally on the last day, I would get up early in the morning to iron my dad's clothes as he went to the post office. And I asked my mom, can I play football? And she said no. And then I remember my dad said to my mom, sweetheart, just let the boy be a boy.
Awesome.
And then,
thank you, Dad.
Right. And so he signed that permission slip, and that's where it all began. And so him signing that permission slip, who would have thought it would have got me a scholarship and an opportunity to go to the NFL? But I was very appreciative of them signing that permission slip.
Well, we know that you look up to Mom and Dad, and I know that you're forever grateful for your dad putting in that subtle sweetheart request. Right. Who were some of your idols? Who did you really like as you were growing up?
Some of my idols, my dad was my idol growing up, and
awesome.
My brother. Actually, those two men still are my idols growing up. There was another pastor named Ronald H. Carter in New York. He was one of my idols. There was a football player named Ray Lewis. His passion and intensity. I just looked up to those men.
Yeah, and idol probably isn't a good word, so we want everybody to know that we really didn't mean idol as in idolize, just to make sure. Yeah, that's right, and in inspiring person. So, Mom and Dad, we didn't mean that. Alrighty, let's see. So, really, what was the most exciting thing about really just being an athlete?
You know, just to tag along to that question you asked before, my dad, so when I started playing football in school, every year he would ask me, what do I want to accomplish this year? And so we would set short-term goals, and then we would set long-term goals. And I remember just really the long-term goals, writing on a piece of paper what I wanted to accomplish. And I said I wanted to start. And I said eventually I wanted to get a scholarship playing football to a college, and then eventually I would like to have an opportunity to play in the NFL. And I remember writing those goals on a piece of paper and giving them to my dad. And my dad would place them inside of his closet door. So when he would get up and get dressed in the morning time, he would see those. And occasionally he would come and we would talk to see where we were at with those goals. And so when I think of my career, that's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
You know, I've always had somebody to push me to the next thing, next phase of my life. And so, but when I think about football and sports, the most exciting thing, we got to travel to a lot of places, and I'm very appreciative of the exposure, but the most exciting thing was the players, the camaraderie. What goes on in the locker room is awesome, and you get to hear people's life stories, and that they're more than just athletes, that they're human beings who have emotions and aspirations and dreams, and they want to provide a better life for their family, or being the first one to go to college in their family. those are some powerful, strong, dynamic stories, and I'm just appreciative to be a part of those.
Well, there are a number of things that really came out of that. First and foremost, let's really kind of drill into this a little bit more, because as I mentioned at the top of the show, my wife and I are focusing on helping young athletes and their family members to make that next step. And we want to make it as simple as ABC. You talk goals. Your dad was your buddy, so to speak. He held you accountable. And as we talk about the A's, bringing your A game, you know, that's your association. Your dad was your anchor, your attitude. Those are the things that are very important. And I'm sure that your mom and dad wouldn't let you off the hook as it relates to academics. And your attitude is just amazing. So what advice would you give to young people who really think they are going to go to that next level, whether it's being from high school to college or college to pro? What advice would you give them?
The first thing I would tell them, dream big. Like, dream big, that those things are possible. I had a teacher named Brenda McClendon, and so she will always call us her little world changers. And so she would tell us, if we're going to change the world, you got to dream big. And so I've always had that mentality to dream big, that nothing's too small, and nothing's too small to do for us. And then the second thing is the people that you surround yourself are very important. I've always had good cheerleaders in my corner, people who would not only tell me that I'm great at stuff, but tell me when I'm going on the wrong way, and they would be honest to me in love. And so my parents were that for me. And not only my parents, but there's a thing I like to call a third voice. People in your life that may not be your parents, but you have respect for. And so Brenda McClendon, my teacher, was one of those. Or Mark Fairbrother, one of my football coaches in high school. My dad worked 2 jobs, and so a lot of times I didn't get to see my dad because he was working at the post office, and then at night he worked as a custodian at Memphis University. And so he was trying to provide for his family, and he was very involved in our life, but at the same time he had to provide for our family. And so I met a coach, Coach Mark Fairbrother. He just had this ability. He never gave up on me, and I felt that even when I gave up on myself, he would never let me give up on myself, and he never gave up on me. And so I've just made a mark to surround myself with those people who care about me unconditionally and will continue to push me forward to the next level. And I think a young person, if there may be an absent father or a kid who feels like the parents may not be interested in, or there's disinterest, if you surround yourself or find some teacher or person that is older than you, who's at a different season of life than you, and who will care for you and push you to that next level. I think there are always third voices in our life. The question is, are we willing to look for them and hear what they have to say?
Well, you've said quite a bit, and I must say that I'm thankful to Tommy Thompson, who is actually our global coordinator for Coach RIX Winners, for introducing me to you. The thing that I hear from you, it just really speaks, and it is in direct alignment with what Coach RIX Winners is interested in doing, and that is to help those young people and their family members. And I make a conscious effort to say family members because, as you said, the parents may not be there, but we want them to know that they're all stars and they're all winners regardless.
Exactly.
What kind of advice would you share with a young person who does dream big? And I would